with the popularity of social media, unlike back in the days, whereas women, all women had to do was just go out in public, be out and about, whether they may either be dressed up or down. And what I mean by down, a woman could be at a local grocery store, hair not done all the way, looking a hot mess, could also be in a t-shirt, a bonnet, and I'm talking about my sisters on behalf of how so many sisters like to go out in public. Not all of them, but quite a bit of them while shopping like to wear bonnets. And she could also be shopping in house shoes as well. A t-shirt, some gym shorts, some house shoes. Just to give you a prime example, only for a guy and with no makeup, only for a guy to still approach her to get to know her better. Unlike nowadays when social media, women have more accessibility to choose from man to man, back and forth, with the popularity of social media and dating apps. Let's not mention smartphones as well. Because think about how some women, fellas, may happen to have a guy who, instead of having a guy who she may be seeing on the side, one of her side guys or side pieces, actual name in her phone is one of the contacts. She may have the name of a local business or her favorite pizza restaurant, something of that nature, or her house, her longtime hairdresser that she's been having for X amount of years. These are some of the main examples of how women, modern day women, I'm talking about women within the 20, 30, 40-year-old age brackets, will go out of their ways to be unfaithful to their men, but yet and still the gym and dance girls. Hi, the gym and dance girls. Thanks for joining the live. And I also wanted to mention how women nowadays are so conniving, so tactful, especially women with jobs. And don't let your woman be a woman who may have a whole lot of overtime, may have a job where she may be getting a whole lot of overtime, offer a whole lot of overtime. These women like to use, even if they don't like to work overtime, some of these women, some of these modern day women, fellas, are so clever, so sneaky, to the point where they may have a job that offers upwards to 2, sometimes 4 hours of overtime, only to use that as an alibi to her man who she may either be married to or she may be shacking up with, may have been shacking up with X amount of years. And that'll be their main excuse, telling that man that they may have to work some extra overtime while actually being at work, only to be seeing that side dude. Am I right or wrong, fellas? Because these are the same women who have jobs where they may be working at either a call center by the likes of Verizon call center, a bank, what else? A hospital, warehouse. I would say warehouses have the most women who are the most promiscuous. Warehouses along with hospitals. These are the types of jobs in workplaces some women take pride in working at, due to how they may use these types of workplaces as extra avenues that have just to be able to justify cheating, just to be able to be that much more tactful and clever in having ways to cheat. These are the same women, in some cases, who have been on the same job, may have been on the same job for over 10 years, and may have a husband, in some cases a husband and kids, who they may have been with, hi big buck, who they may have been with for 10 years or a little bit longer than 10 years, who will go out of their ways to do all they can to keep those jobs, to be faithful, as faithful as possible, dedicated as possible, while being on these jobs, from having to go. It may be a case where it's okay, a lady may happen to be a custodian at a middle or high school, and she may happen to be around her mid 30s, I would say 34, 35, may have a husband who she claims to be happy with, and it may come a case where come the weekend, I'm talking about, Big Buck, how women, modern day women, would go out of their ways to be as faithful as possible to their jobs, to their employers, but yet and still won't be faithful to their men. That's what I'm talking about. Big Buck will go out of their ways to be unfaithful and cheat on their men. Am I right, Big Buck, or not? But anyway, like I was saying, she may happen to be a woman who may happen to have a job as a custodian at either a middle or high school. And it may come a case where as the principal or the head housekeeper / team lead may want her to come in around 2 hours earlier than usual on a Friday. She would go out of her way to leave home, may go out of her way to leave home as early as 1 to 2 hours early, just to be early on her job as early as possible, just to be able to clock in right at the exact designated time she's supposed to. Yet and still, this same woman that works at either middle school or high school at a custodian, when it's time to leave work, she may happen to try to get with her team leader, her housekeeping team lead. And instead of her saying that she, how could I put it, instead of her coming home to her husband once it was time to punch out, she may come up with some kind of logical excuse. May, for instance, say she may have to go and see about her mom who may be bedridden, who may be sick. And then, yeah, go ahead and subscribe, Big Book. I really would appreciate it. Thanks for asking me, too. Anyway, she may go over to her mother's house, true enough, after saying she had to spend time with her mother after leaving work, only to have that same team lead housekeeper of hers to be right over in her mom's house, getting her back blown out in her mom's house. And come to find out, her mother may not even be sickly at all. Her mother may be physically able, okay, thank you, Big Buck, may be fully and physically able to do completely on her own. This is one example of how so many modern day women, how tactful, how slick, how conniving so many modern day women can be within the 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 20-something-year-old, 30-something-year-old, 40-something-year-old age bracket. What's the context of my monologue? I'm talking about Tantra Aaron. Thanks for joining. I'm talking about how women, modern day women, will go out of their ways as much as possible to be faithful as possible to their jobs and workplaces, but yet and still you can't go a whole week without being faithful to their very own man, who they may have been in a long-term relationship for X amount of years, or may currently be in a relationship with and may claim to be happily married to, or if not happily married to, may be shacking up when their man who they may have been staying with or shacking up with for X amount of years, and in some cases may not be married while staying with their men, but yet and still may be shacking up with them and may have kids with a man who they may happen to be staying with, but yet and still will go out of their ways to avoid having to spend extra time with him after work. But yet and still, in the same breath, if they had to come, these same women, if they had to go in to work, to come in a few hours early, just be able to work that much more overtime, they will go out of their ways to, in some cases, go to their workplaces and hour early, if not an hour, 1 hour early, in some cases 2 hours early, will go out their ways, in some cases, to rush through so many traffic lights due to the simple fact of how so many modern day women are so unhappy, so wishy-washy, so hard to please, are never satisfied, and also just cannot be faithful to one man due to social media. I swear to you, am I right or wrong? Social media is playing a big part of why modern day relationships are not lasting that much more longer. The ownership is on the man. Whatever you don't get as a man is because it has to be earned. This includes a woman's respect. Okay, Tundra Air, thanks for that. Anyways, social media has had an effect, a big effect, been so detrimental on modern day relationships to the point where women don't see themselves being married to the same man even for a whole year, much less a few months, due to how so many of them can't put their phone down, due to how so many of them are dealing with temptation over and over, and on behalf of so many guys, so many other guys other than the actual man who they may be in a long-term relationship and live with, being in their DMs, inboxing them day after day, inboxing them inappropriate messages, pictures, things of that nature. These are the same women who also may pray on a regular basis, go to church and expect for God to be faithful to them, yet and still can't be faithful to their very own husband or boyfriend, long-term boyfriend that they may have been staying with, for instance, for around 5 years or longer. These are the same exact women, ladies and gentlemen, once again, who, okay, hi, Big Buck. These are the same exact women, for some of you who may just be joining this live stream, these are the same exact types of women who, if they had to pick a job or a workplace to work at where they could be able to get upwards to 4 hours of overtime, they would sure enough take advantage of that overtime, but wouldn't even much stay at the workplace to work those actual hours of overtime. Instead, they would usually use that overtime they may be offered on their jobs as an alibi to cheat and an alibi to have to their man who they may be in a long-term relationship with, whether once again it may be either their husband or steady boyfriend, steady/long-term boyfriend. Once again, which proves my point of how so many modern women cannot be faithful, go out of their ways to be unfaithful to their very own men, but yet and still, and make this make sense, ladies, will do all they can to maintain their jobs. In some cases, their same jobs that they have been working on for 10 years, in some cases longer than that. Even if it took as far as being as obedient to their very own boss, especially if it's a male boss, because in some cases, I've been doing pretty good, Mr. Smith, thanks for joining. In some cases, some women would rather be more subservient to a male boss as opposed to a fellow female boss, especially if it may come a case where you may have a sister, a black woman, who may have been on her job for X amount of years, and she may happen to have nothing but white male bosses. These are the same exact women that will be as obedient, as subservient as possible to these white male bosses. But yet and still, when she's at home with her man, who she may have been either married to or in a long-term relationship, shacking up for X amount of years, she goes out of her way to give him a hard time, goes out of her way to raise hell with him and talk back to him, demean him, call him all kinds of derogatory names in the book. These are the same exact women who will go out of their ways to find a way to cheat with their fellow co-worker, even if it took having an excuse as in saying they had to work some extra overtime just so they could be able to creep with their fellow male coworker or in some cases boss, and instead of them taking out the time to work the regular shift and go home to their man, will do all they can to come back home as late as possible. Don't, even if that man of theirs may be that long-term husband, whether a husband or either long-term boyfriend may happen to be a very good cook. For instance, he may be a sous chef who may be the head of a whole lot of other chefs at a five-star restaurant. Or he may be a guy who may happen to be just a very good husband on all kinds of levels, has never ever cheated on her, may be a good father, does all he can while she's at work to help the kids with the homework. If the kids may want to go to games, ball games, may go out of his way to spend time with them, to take them to ball games, may happen to take them over to his parents' house, or if his parents may happen to not be together, may happen to take the kids to see his mother, the kids' grandmothers, only for this woman to still go out of her way to be unfaithful to him, to show him how unhappy she is with him. And if you want another example, want some more proof of how modern day women cannot be faithful, just look at a Tubi movie. Right now, go to any black independent movie on Tubi, and one of them is in particular is on behalf of this one named Faithful. Faithful, the movie Faithful, and one of the stars is Lemaster Spratly, if I'm saying his name right. Then another one is Lies and Loyalty. Lies and Loyalty, I'm trying to say when a black female actress named Fancy Jones. Those two movies are a perfect example, the perfect blueprint of how so many modern day women will go out of their ways to be unfaithful to their very own man, and will find all kinds of ways to justify being unfaithful, all kinds of tactics to go out of their ways to be unfaithful to their very own men who may show them the utmost love, their very own men who may know how to put it down, if not in the kitchen, you may know how to put it down in the, you know, where I'm coming from, in that kind of way as well. Anyways, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. And I also wanted to know before I end this live, does anybody have a blanket? Because I'm on fire today. Is anybody hungry? Because I'm cooking today. I'm cooking like I never ever have cooked before. And if you guys want to let me know how much you appreciated all this game I gave you on behalf of how, if you are a woman, you have more viewers, let's be honest. Who knows? I probably would. Chill Out Records. Anyways, make sure before I end this live stream, and thanks for the few of you who joined me, make sure to smash that like button, share the video, comment, last but not least, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, I'm out.